Hi everyone, this is Dr. GVR Seshagiri Rao, Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. So we are discussing about engineering typology subject. So today we will discuss about lubricants and their physical properties. So what is the importance of lubricants in engineering typology? What their properties? So, what are the important characteristics of the lubricants and how many types of lubricants are there? We will study in this today's topic. So, already in engineering tribology involves three major parameters. One is friction, wear, second one is wear, and third one is lubricant. So, already in previous earlier sessions, we have discussed about friction and wear. The third one, lubricant is very, very important parameter in the tribology subject. Whenever there is a relative motion between two surfaces, there is a friction, there is a wear. So, how to control this wear and friction? How to minimize? By using lubricants, you can minimize. So, those things we will discuss today. So, today's topics are lubricants and the properties of lubricant. So, for introduction part, first of all, we should know about a lubricant. So, what do you mean by lubricant? So, lubricant is a substance used in between two moving surfaces to reduce the friction. So, lubricant is a substance. So, why it is used? To reduce the friction between the two contact surfaces. So, whenever there is a relative motion between the two surfaces, so one surface contact is with another. So there is a friction. So to control, so how to control this friction? To minimize the friction, you have to use the lubricant substance. So the lubrication is a process of reducing friction and wear between two moving surfaces by adding lubricant in between them. So whenever you added the third substance that is called as lubricant in between two moving surfaces. So example here shown in this lubrication system figure. So these two are moving elements, gear system. So in between, so whenever you added lubricant, what will happen? So somewhat friction you can minimize. So reduce the friction. So whenever the friction reduced, so automatically the wear also reduced. So you can minimize the friction as well as the wear by using the lubricant substance. That process is called as lubrication. So whenever you are using the lubricant in between two surfaces, there is a system, there is a process. That process is called as lubrication process. You can see in this figure. So what are the functions of lubricant? So the major functions are it prevents the direct contact between the moving surfaces and reduces wear, tear and surface deformation of the concerned parts. So it prevents the direct contact between the moving surfaces. And also it reduces the wastage of energy. The wastage of energy so that efficiency of the machine enhanced. So you can improve the machine efficiency by adding this lubricant. So whenever the wastage of energy reduced, there must the efficiency also will increase. You can enhance. So it reduces the frictional heat and prevents the expansion of metals. So reduce friction, the frictional heat, and then prevents the expansion of metals. The heat and this frictional heat you can reduce. So due to this, you can prevents the expansion of metal. Whenever the heat is increased, automatically what will happen? The metal, the contacting surface metal also will expand. So due to this expansion, the entire system will be jammed. So, so automatically after some time, the system will be failed. So to reduce this type of failures, you can use this lubrication process. It acts as a coolant by removing the frictional heat generated due to the rubbing of surfaces. So whenever two contacting surfaces are in a rubbing position, so what will happen? There must a heat. Some heat will generate due to the friction between these two surfaces. So how to reduce this heat? How to minimize? How to remove? So by using coolant, so that coolant you can use this lubricant. The lubricants are different types of lubricants are there. So we will discuss in later coming up slides. So by using the lubrication, this heat you can remove from the system. So suppose you take a engine. So engine. So whenever the engine heated, so you can heat minimize removing from the body by using this the coolant. So whatever absorbed that heat transferred to the surrounding surfaces. So by using this lubrication process, you can remove the heat frictionally. So that you can avoid the this damages of parts, some engine parts or other any mechanical elements. Next one is minimize the corrosion. So by applying this lubrication, you can minimize the corrosion. So due to the environmental conditions, sometimes some parts may undergo this corrosion property. So you can minimize this the corrosion also. It provides cleaning section action. Sorry. So it provide cleaning action means sometimes after the machining and after cutting process, some material, the waste material, you can clean by pumping this type of lubricants. So you can use as a cleaning liquid, and it provides cushioning effect. Sometimes in brakes, and the brake oil and other lubrications, you can use as a cushioning effect to reduce the vibrations. Whenever the body is subjected to high amplitude, so that vibrations will be possible machine itself and then surrounding also. You can minimize these vibrations by using this lubrication. It acts as a cushioning effect. These are the major functions of a lubricant. So that you can, we have to use the lubricant in rubbing surfaces. Whenever the two contacting surfaces are contacting rubbing action, so there must be used this lubricant. So that is so that the lubricant parameter is very important in a tribology subject. Next, what are the important properties of lubricants? Up to now, we have seen the functions of the lubricant. Now, properties. So, in lubricant properties, the first important property is viscosity. So, viscosity, it is a measure of the internal resistance of a liquid during its flow. It is expressed in centipoise. The centipoise is the units of a viscosity. So, viscosity means that it indicates the internal resistance of a liquid during its flow. It resistance, the flow resistance. So, like suppose oil, you take oil and water. So, the water can easily flow on a ground. So when compared to the oil, so that it measures the the quality of the oil by using this viscosity property. Clear? So that is thickness and thinness. So how much thick oil and how much thickness the lubrication film thickness, it represents the viscosity. The viscosity of an oil is the time in seconds for a given quantity of oil to pass through a standard orifice, orifice under the specified conditions. So by using this orifice, standard orifice, you can you can measure, you can find this viscosity. So, what is this significance? If the viscosity of the lubricating oil is too high, the movement of the machine is restricted due to the excessive friction. So, whenever you are using the high viscosity oil, lubricating oil, so there must be the high movement of the machine is possible. So, restricted due to the excessive friction. If the viscosity of the lubricating oil is too low, the liquid oil film cannot be maintained. So, and excessive wear will take place. So, this is the importance of this viscosity. That's why the proper lubricant, the proper viscosity you should maintain. Clear. So, if you are not used the proper lubrication for the proper application, the results will not come favorable. So, the lubrication oil and viscosity depends upon the load and then type of material and then type of application. So the type of according to the application, you have to use this lubrication oil. So the lubrication oil grade you have to select. So here in this the figure shown some viscosity of liquids, various liquids. One is water. In this water, you can observe here the viscosity is very low. The viscosity is very low, so that here you can pour this water drop by drop on a floor. So similarly, milk. This milk somewhat when compared to the water, so somewhat viscosity is higher than the water. So oil. See, the droplets are minimized here. So why? Because the oil, the viscosity is higher than this water and milk, and the egg yolk, so very high viscosity when compared to these three. So this egg yolk does not move on a flow very easily. So there is no easy flow. So when compared to the water and milk. So here lower viscosity is water. This is the measurement of the liquid. So that is called as the viscosity. The measurement is viscosity, the quantity of the oil flow. By using this viscosity property, you can measure. So see in this figure, here also shown the less viscous water and then oil. So here in water easily flow on a ground, but oil not like that. See, so you can say the by seeing this figure, which lubricant is having more viscosity. Here in this figure, oil. You can say immediately oil is more viscous than water. So based on the application, you have to use this type of lubricants. Next, viscosity index. So the viscosity of oil decreases with increase in temperature. Whenever increase the temperature, automatically the thickness of the oil film will be decreased. So that after some time, what will happen? The viscosity of oil decreases. If the viscosity of oil decreases, the rapidly with the increase in temperature, it has low viscosity index. You are keep on increasing the heat, so automatically the viscosity of oil decreases. If the viscosity of an oil is slightly affected with the increase in temperature, it has a higher viscosity index. So that is the viscosity index based on this heat, temperature of the oil. Clear. So whenever the increase the temperature, the high it has a higher viscosity, and the viscosity whenever the viscosity of oil decreases, the increase in temperature, the having low viscosity index. According to the SAE, the SAE means the Society of Automotive Engineers. These are the standard oil they have they invented. They have specified some oils for winter use. The 0, the W, 5W, 10W, and 20 and 25. Like that, they have designated the oils. Clear. So the grade, the year, it means it So it 5 and 10, it indicates the viscosity of the oil, the viscosity property of the oil. The 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, and 50, 60, 80, 100, 150, 200, 300 for summer use. For multigrade oils, you can use the 10W by 30. So these are the oil grades according to the Society of Automotive Engineers. Next one is flash point. So here the flash point uh, property is, it is the lowest temperature at which the oil gives off enough vapor that ignite for a moment when a small flame is brought near it. So this phenomenon is known as the flash point. Whenever the vapor ignite for a particular time, so when a small flame is brought near it, so no need the high spark. So whenever the small flame also enough to burn this oil. So that is called as lowest temperature at which it gives the vapor, the ignite. That point is called as flash point. So whenever the oil, the vapor of the oil burns continuously for at least 5 seconds, when a small flame is brought near it, that point is called as fire point. So this is the difference between the flash point and fire point. So the flash point, it's the oil, the movement ready to ignite. Clear. So here this the fire point in this vapor of the oil burns continuously for at least 5 seconds. So that generally the fire point is 5 to 40 degrees centigrade higher than a flash point. Clear. So the significance, a knowledge of flash and fire point is useful in providing protection against the fire hazards. So whenever you know the flash point and fire point of the lubrication oil, so you can minimize the fire accidents. So without knowing, you have used this type of lubricants oil, so you don't know the flash point is high and the fire point also very high. So those type of oils are, if suppose used in a particular application without studying of the properties of the lubricants, so that leads to major fire accidents. So to protect these type of hazards, you can you should know about this flash and fire point. Lubricant oils of the paraffins base process high flash points than those of naphthenic base points. And then the determination of flash and fire points is helpful in identifying the type of lubricating oil. So these are some methods are there to find out the fire point and flash point. A good lubricant oil should have flash and fire points higher than the operating temperature of the machine. Next, determination. So the flash and fire points can be determined using the same operators. The operators are given the red wood viscometer and say bolt viscometer. So here the small test flame is periodically applied over the surface of the oil. The temperature at which the distinct flash is seen is the flash point. The heating and periodical application of test flame are continued. The temperature at which the oil vapor catches fire and burns continuously is the fire point. So already we know probably already we studied about this fire point and flash point in the previous slide. So the viscosity of oil is determined by using these two operators. So one is redwood viscometer and Seybold viscometer. Next, third property is cloud and 4 point. The cloud point is when oil is cooled slowly, the temperature at which the oil becomes cloudy in appearance is called its cloud point. So when the oil cooled slowly, the temperature at which the temperature the oil becomes cloudy. You can say like this. That point is called as a cloud point. The 4 point is the temperature at which the oil ceases to flow. Or 4 is called its 4 point. So if the temperature it ceases to the flow or 4. The most of the petroleum-based lubricating oils contain dissolved paraffin wax and asphaltic impurities. When the oil is cooled, these impurities undergo solidification, which cause jamming of the mission. So the cloud and 4 points indicate the suitability of the lubricants in a cold conditions. Suppose if you don't know the 4 point and cold point, you can't use lubricants in a cold condition atmosphere. So whenever you are operating the machine, so in a cold condition, there must you should have the knowledge of the cloud point and 4 point. So a good lubricant must have low, cold, and cloud and 4 points. So how to determine? So here an oil is taken in a flat bottomed tube enclosed in a air jacket. Separate method is there. Uh, so in thermometers are introduced into the oil and freezing mixer. The cooling takes place where the air jacket temperature of the oil falls. The temperature at which the cloudiness appears is noted as the cloud point. The cooling is further contained. The temperature at which the oil does not flow in the test tube. The temperature at which the oil does not flow in the test tube for 5 seconds and tilting it to the horizontal position is noted as the 4 point. I will show you the diagram. So by using this apparatus, you can determine the cloud point and the 4 point. A good lubricant must have low, cold, and cloud and 4 point. So see, in this cloud and 4 point apparatus, the thermometer is used, and here oil, and this is a container or jar. The test tube is already inserted inside, and cooling mixture ice plus salt. Here, in cooling, cooled is a freezing mixer. The freezing mixer ice plus air salt Cl2. So thermometers are introduced in this oil and freezing mixer. So the test tube temperature at which the oil does not flow in the test tube for 5 seconds and tilting it to the horizontal position. So then you note down the 4 point. So by using these operators, you can determine the cloud and 4 point of the lubricant, the particular lubricant. Next property is oiliness. It is one of the most important property of a lubricant which possessed by oils. It is a property by virtue of which an oil remains headed to the lubricating surface. Next, oiliness of lubricants. The vegetable or animal oils are with high oiliness compared to mineral oils. The oiliness is an oil enhancement property provided using chemical additives known as anti-wear agents. These are generally used in extreme pressure lubrications. So the chemical additives are used in extreme pressure lubrication. I will show you in the next slides the additives. It is the property of the lubricant to stick on the surface under the conditions of high speed and heavy load. The oiliness is directly related to specific of oil. The lower the specific gravity, that is density, higher is oiliness. The oil are generally either saturated and unsaturated fatty acids. So, understanding these properties and selecting lubricants based on the specific requirements of an application is crucial for ensuring optimal performance and long life of machinery. Next, what are the important characteristics of a good lubricant? A good lubricant should not undergo any decomposition, oxidation, reduction at a high temperature. So these the lubricant should have these characteristics. It should not undergo any decomposition and oxidation and reduction at a high temperature. Next point, a good lubricant should have higher flash point and fire point than the operating temperature. And a good lubricant should not corrode the machine parts. A good lubricant should have high oiliness, viscosity index, and aniline point. So these properties are characteristics are very important for a good lubricant. So what are the types of lubricants? So many types of lubricants are there. Animal oils, vegetable oils, mineral oils, synthetic lubricants, greases, and solid lubricants. Example, graphite. So these are the types of lubricants. These lubricants have to use according to the type of load and type of application. So some oil additives are there. In extreme conditions, you can use this type of oil additives. The chemical substances which are added to the lubricating oil, either to reinforce some of its natural properties or to provide it with certain new properties which it does not possess originally. Suppose any lubricant not having that property, so you can you can enhance the property by using this chemical substance. You can add some oil additives to reinforce the some natural properties. Hence, these substances are called as oil additives. Some here additives are given: oxidation inhibitors, amines, sulfides, phenols with metals like tin, zinc, or barium. Corrosion inhibitors, oxidation inhibitors with metal salts. Detergents, high temperature deposits, gums, and varnishes, and dispersants are low temperature deposits and cold surge. Anti-scub additives to polish moving parts like piston, cylinder walls, and cams, etc. Viscosity index improvers, anti-foaming additives. Next one is polyorgan siloxanes. These are the some oil additives, the chemical additives. So by using these additives, you can improve the properties. You can create properties of the lubricant oil. So parts which require lubrication. Generally, which type of parts are required continuous lubrication, frequently lubrication? The main crankshaft bearing in mechanical engineering. So main crankshaft bearing is required lubrication. Big end bearings required, and gudgeon pin be required, and piston rings and cylinder wall. These are parts of the engine. Engine parts: piston, connecting rod, piston rings, crankshaft. Clear. Piston rings and cylinder walls, timing gear, cams and camshaft bearings, valve mechanism, electrical equipment also require some lubrication. Clear. So that's why we should know before using the lubrication for a particular application, you should know the property and property of the lubricant and what are the characteristics of the lubricant. Lubricant you should know. So then only you can use the proper lubricant for proper application to enhance the efficiency of the entire system or entire mission. See here, given some lubrication system shown the figure. This is a engine. In this engine, the floating oil intake and screen. This is the lubrication oil sump, oil pond. So from this oil to from this sump to the oil supplied to various parts of the machine. So here the pressure measuring gauge is already there. Here oil gauge, and these are the parts of the engine: rocker arm, rocker shaft, valve, cylinder head, camshaft. Clear. And then oil gear lace and the timing chain, the timing gear, crankshaft, various parts. Many parts are there in a engine, so that these all parts are required the lubrication. So the lubrication, the oil supply from this sump to various parts. So then only it gives the good results and good efficiency, good output. So these are the references I have taken. Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.